guys going to fish, or you just going to sit there? Such a beautiful day here in October, and it's still beautiful. So you're just chilling here, soaking up some sunshine. I don't blame you. Be the thing to do on such a pretty day. Won't be long. Those leaves will be changing. Orange and yellows and reds, beauty. But that's not the only thing beautiful in the woods this time of year. How about some mushrooms, a little fungi? Be some good stuff. We'll go check it out right now. My sister and her daughter have a camp spot not too far from here at a private campground, and they have a good friend, their buddy Steve, who is a mushroom magnet. This guy really knows his stuff. So they invited us over to take a little walk around the woods with them this morning. So let's park the boat, take a little hike in the woods. What do you say? See you. Okay, Steve, introduce yourself, if you would.
I'm Steve Cinders. I am from northern Ohio. I come down here every weekend. This is where I have sanity. So, do a lot of fishing, do a lot of mushroom hunting. I'm a little infatuated with mushrooms, just a little bit. But I'm still an amateur.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So who's your sidekick here?
This is my adopted daughter-ish niece. What do we consider?
Camp fam.
Camp fam.
Camp family?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she happens to be my blood niece. So that's
Yes.
pretty cool. So we're going to have some mushrooms today. And
We
why
are.
today? We're here in the fall. Why today?
So fall is the best time, right? So some of the best choice edibles are going to be during the fall. It's been raining. It's moist. It's cool. As you see in front of us, one of my favorites. This is Hen-of-the-Woods. Give us the Latin name.
Grifola frondosa.
And the frondosa means
Leaves.
many
leaves.
leaves.
Yeah.
But these are kind of the ones, there's no lookalikes.
Okay.
So this is really good ones.
Can't mistake it with a toxic mushroom.
So I'm gonna give you my disclaimer. So
Okay.
always do your own research,
Yes.
and do not rely on YouTube to do it,
Gotcha.
because mentally you have to be prepared, right? So even if you have a little hint that it's not, so if you had like a little gurgle after you eat it, it can mess with you, right?
Yep.
So yeah, do your own research. Start small. Always keep a sample of it that's not cooked. Cook some and just eat a little bit. Keep the cooked sample, the raw sample, and then if you're okay with it, you can eat it.
So would you say these two here in front of us, the hens and the chickens, are...
This is what we're looking for.
This is what
There's going to be tons of mushrooms, and we're going to look at a lot of different mushrooms.
Gotcha.
But these are going to be, there's choice edibles, right? So hens, chickens, chanterelles, morels, oysters. So we have oyster tree right back here.
Okay.
That pile, we grow them back here on our own trees.
Okay.
But the true choice edibles are these, and morels and chanterelles. Oysters, taste like mushrooms,
Gotcha.
Okay. So
What's your opinion of morels, because they're so popular
So
compared to these guys here?
I grew up eating morels, and most of everybody in the world, that's what they ate. That's what they know. Anymore, I just let the other people eat them.
Gotcha. Okay.
These, the summer ones, are the ones that nobody know anything about.
Gotcha.
That's the ones I want.
So how about we hit the woods?
Let's do it.
Let's go.
So there's some baby ones.
Cool.
A little bigger ones. These are really nice. The petals on these ones are definitely a lot grayer. Very nice. Beautiful specimen.
This one's awesome.
He definitely starting to turn brown. Should we pick him?
Yes. Let's pick it. Should have brought your knife.
Should
Beautiful.
She is beautiful. It is a nice one.
Very
Beautiful
nice.
specimen.
Turn it that way.
Yeah, so let's break her in half.
Sweet.
Yes, beautiful white bottoms. It is a polypore mushroom, so there's no gills. Just little pores out of the bottom.
Gotcha.
It's fresh.
Smells like fungus.
Smell like fungus. So we'll probably leave those to grow.
Okay.
They're just babies.
They're babies. And you say leave them to grow. How much longer will they need to grow?
I would check those. I would check them every day.
Time will elapse from that guy to the one that you just
we
harvested.
were here last weekend and we had 0.
Gotcha.
So that's 1 week of growth. And so
Wow.
yeah, they're quick.
1 week.
1 week.
What tree species?
This is a red oak.
Okay.
I don't know which type of red oak,
Gotcha.
but
It's a big old tree.
it
Big
is.
old girl.
Typically, I find them on the black oaks. They say they do beech. They say they do any kind of oak, but typically they grow up. They come back every year. Not every year, but the same tree.
Okay.
So this one actually had one last year. We have a couple more trees to look at. They did not produce last year.
Why do you think that is?
It depends on the moisture, right?
Gotcha.
So if we got a lot of moisture, if
Good
everything's
year.
right,
Gotcha.
it's good. So the damage lets that fungi in. So most trees have their own antifungal stuff, but once they get damaged, it opens them up. So I have found oysters, but you can see the Celia is just,
It's just loaded,
it's
isn't
just loaded. It's coming all the way up.
it? And this is the seed of the,
This is the base of the mushroom. That's
Okay.
what's
that's what the fruit grows from?
what the fruit grows from. That's just a perfect example. The tree's still alive. I'm expecting not for long. This tree actually died because of the chicken of the woods. So we were 2 o'clock in the morning. We all heard this tree fall, and we didn't know, why. But so when I seen this beautiful red oak die, so I actually took plugs that was seminated with mycelia of oysters, and I drilled holes in the bottom, and I asked John if I could do it.
Yeah.
So I plugged it, and you can see the plugs.
Yeah.
But then the next year, the chickens popped, and then I knew what killed this tree.
Gotcha.
You can see the mycelia kind of grow up in the
Gotcha.
middle of it. It's
And
like
how
a-
does that kill a tree?
Well, I'll show you. It has a seam,
Okay.
and that seam that chicken got in there, and he actually put his mycelia down through there, and he weakened it,
Gotcha.
and it just fell over. Yeah, but if you look on this side, I'll show you what I mean. So it had this seam. So you had that seam that came up, and the mycelia got into it. You can see it right now. But it got into this area in here, and it just weakened it. So it was so tall and it was leaning, and when it weakened it, it just cracked it off.
And down she went.
So yeah, he's full of chicken. I mean, he is actually full of turkey tails now. You can see the moss,
Yeah.
but this part is just full of chickens. This was completely full of I got some stills of it, just completely full of.
How long will they produce, do you think? How
Well,
many
on a
years?
tree like this one still has good meat to it.
Yeah.
It's going to produce for a long time. But the petals are tighter, right? It's not more coral-like,
It is more brownie in here.
but that is just,
They're so
I'll show the underneath.
yeah, just moist and beautiful.
So that one's. What's this one look like underneath?
Same thing.
Okay.
This was the same one that just broke.
Yeah,
Nice.
How white that is.
yeah.
And there's no gills on these. These are porous, right?
They are polypore.
Now, how will you prepare these for your food consumption?
So last night,
Butter.
Butter
Garlic.
It was oil. We did it over
We
a
did.
fire also.
over an open fire.
we sauteed in olive oil. We cooked it down, got all the moisture out of them. Then we added salt, pepper,
Butter,
Garlic.
garlic.
butter, garlic, because we wanted the flavor.
They were delicious.
But they're good with onions too, right? But it
yeah.
kind of hides it a
Yeah.
little more. One of the best ones though.
Now, do you eat them alone, or do you add them to some meats or that
Well,
kind
we
of
had
thing?
Both.
we had
Yeah.
a fantastic steak last night. So.
They
Deborah
do go
puts
well
them in
with steak.
soup.
Soups.
Oh yeah,
The stock
Absolutely.
part you can put in
the stock.
soup.
Yeah,
So what about the soup?
so the stocks. So there's some really meaty parts. So that makes a good broth.
Okay.
So we will cut the petals off.
Yep.
Save the stock or the
Gotcha.
The core.
the core, and then we'll make a stock out of it. Just gives it a little mushroom flavor.
Yeah. Now, is there any possibility to freeze these things or anything like
Yes,
that?
these freeze perfect.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
You don't have to do anything.
Like with morel mushrooms, it's always a battle to freeze them
Nope.
or dry them and so on and so forth.
No, so these you just, I won't even wash them, and I'll just put them in a plastic bag and freeze them, and they'll be fine. Chanterelles, typically we blanch them with olive oil, no salt and pepper, nothing. Just blanch them with that, and then roll them up tight.
So when you bring them out of their freeze, is there anything you have to do to them at that point? Just let them fall and go at it.
And go at it.
Yeah.
They only have to be thawed.
Gotcha. Okay.
Throw 'em in-
Cleaning them at some point
Yeah.
is good.
Oh, well, yeah. Since I haven't,
Yeah.
I usually don't clean them because I don't want to add any moisture to them.
So when you eat these things raw, well, not really raw, but cooked or alone, is there any other food that you can think of that would taste similar to this?
Similar.
Yeah.
They have their own
Yeah.
natural salty flavor.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
no.
They have a
They
taste.
feel, the texture is rubbery like a normal like button mushroom or whatever, but they don't taste like it.
Gotcha.
They just taste good.
So also, although they're called the Hen-of-the-Woods, they don't taste like chicken.
But the chicken
No.
of the wood does.
Chicken of the wood does. Or at least has a
delicious.
texture of it.
Okay. Like grainy or
Chicken of the woods is more meaty.
gotcha.
These are more rubbery and thin, but
Yeah. But they don't taste like rubber.
no.
Delicious.
Yes.
Oh, one of the best. Okay, so these are some oysters. So there's many types of oysters, but I don't know the Latin name of this one. But it's characterized by hardly any stem,
Nice.
gills. They do get buggy though, so these probably only last 3 or 4 days, and they'll be too far gone.
Gotcha. The bugs eat them.
The bugs eat them, but also look, it also starts rotting itself.
I see.
So once they start getting the yellow on them, it'll actually consume the whole mushroom.
And how do
but,
they taste?
More of a mushroomy type, like maybe a button type mushroom.
Gotcha.
So people that are used to commercial mushrooms,
They can relate to that.
they could relate to these.
Okay.
But nice and fresh ones.
Yeah.
Just not a whole lot. This tree is really probably almost depleted of its
Yeah.
resources, so it's not.
It's about gone.
It's about gone. So
Okay.
lots of times we will get 10, 20 pounds out of it with a fresh tree that just died.
And the question that I hear often when mushrooms are brought up, how long will a tree produce mushroom? It depends on the life of the, or the...
It does. Depends on your base too, right? So
Yeah.
that big oak we just looked at,
Right.
It'll produce for years.
Awesome.
But they just keep shrinking, right? So the
Yeah.
mount will keep shrinking. So this is really, the mycelium grows through it and it's actually eating. So 90% of the mushroom is in the tree. This is only called the flower or the fruit, right?
Mhm.
So when it starts depleting its supply inside, it says, I need to go elsewhere.
Gotcha.
And that's when it starts putting the flowers out and trying to reproduce and go elsewhere.
To disperse its spores, so to say.
Disperses spores.
Okay.
So it's really kind of the last of the life cycle when it starts.
I see.
Um,
And mushrooms are a very important product or growth for we humans, and why is that?
absolutely. Well, I mean, it breaks down everything. If we weren't, we'd be stuck with just dead everything. So if you would scan that, you can see the mushrooms,
Yes.
all the different types, breaking this down, returning it to soil for plants to actually come back and take those nutrients and put it. So this is the indigo milky cap, which is lactarius. And actually Bailey is the one that discovered these are edible.
They are edible.
They
Yes,
are edible.
People in Asia eat them a lot.
Yeah.
And why do they eat them? Was there a medicinal deal there, or?
There's no medicinal. You know, all mushroom.
I don't think they're gonna taste good.
So they say they're the best. So you see how it stains?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Do it.
Oh my.
It's
Check
when
that
the
out.
oxygen hits it, it turns blue.
Yeah.
I looked it up.
So
Gotcha.
this is lactarius. It'll ooze material.
So it will milk.
It will milk. So some people actually put these in their eggs, and it turns them green.
Look at your fingers.
Yeah. So you see, yeah, you can
Is it
see
very staining like ink?
I hope not.
Hope not. We'll find out. You were already caught playing with a mushroom that smells like
Yes.
dying carcass.
So they say this is the best of the lactarius, but the lactarius are known for not being that good. And I actually, I took a bite one time and spit it out, of course. You can always taste them, but you got to spit them out.
Gotcha.
And the flavor, it wasn't worth it.
No.
Not good.
No. Not when you have the chickens and the
Yep.
hens and all those other
Yep.
things.
If I was starving,
We don't eat these things, right? We don't eat
we
these
do not.
guys. But they're fun to look at.
They are. So you got all the different stages, right? So if you want to look, so this one here, let's pick it. This is the Anthomedas or whatever. Please look that up and
Will do.
pronounce it for me.
I will. I'll add
But-
it on the.
But it has a bulbous bottom, and so you can see that the gills are protected.
Yep.
And you can see it starting to open up, and then when you see that finally pops, that's the veil.
Wow.
The veil used to protect that.
Gotcha. And here it
So,
is, like
yeah.
a little satellite dish. It's
It is. So we have all the different ones. That's beautiful specimen.
good night.
You can see how big it is compared to my hand.
Yeah. But this family definitely has some of the deadliest ones, so I don't mess with any of them.
Diddly, diddly, diddly.
So this is another maitake that we actually harvested some earlier. So we have a stump here, we have a stump here. We let this one grow a little bit more, and she's definitely beautiful. But can we see the difference? So they do vary a lot.
This is the same type of mushroom.
Same type of mushroom, but I'll see the same tree do either or,
Really?
right? So some years they'll look like this, some years they'll look like this.
They're both hens.
They're both ends.
One
And they-
much darker than the other.
Yeah, and the petals
The
look
leaves
different.
are different. Yeah.
Yeah, so those are more of the
Gotcha.
petals, and you can see how these are more coral looking, I suppose,
Right.
maybe. But you know what? They taste
They
the
taste
same.
the same.
They
That was
taste
my
the
question.
same.
Okay.
Typically, we don't pick all the mushrooms anyway.
And
We
you
let the spores do their thing, you know.
Yeah.
Give them a chance.
Yep.
But she's about the size where you'd want to pick
You'd
her.
want to pick it.
Yep.
Okay, well that's it for this week's Adventures Found. Thanks for joining us. If you liked what you saw, give me a big old thumbs up. If you want to see more, please subscribe. I want to say thanks to my buddy Steve.
Yep.
And my niece Bailey. We had a great time. And one last thing, never forget, every chance you get, guide a kid outside. Perfect.